there's really a lot going on when it comes to tech at this time of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't happened by accident, this way. We are a very well-connected community, and so the team at Aerospace New Zealand, the team at Christchurch City Council and their Smart Cities team, we've been working together with Christchurch NZ to create a buzz around this Innovate Otatahi week. So it's a great time to just kick around and see a bit more of what's going on here.
The New Zealand Tech Podcast, brought to you by Gorilla Technology, proactive and strategic IT.
Greetings and welcome along to the New Zealand Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Spain. Today we are in Canterbury with Louisa Taylor. Welcome along to the show, Louisa.
Thanks so much for having me.
Before we delve in, we want to thank our show partners. Thank you to Vodafone, 2 Degrees, Spark, HP and Gorilla Technology for their support of the New Zealand Tech Podcast.
Look, very exciting to be here in Canterbury again, in Otatahi. Tell me a little bit about what you do, because in the world of tech, you wear a few hats. You're a professor at the Canterbury University. You head up Canterbury Tech, and you've got Periscope Collective that you run as well. So, just walk us through a bit of an overview.
Yeah, at the moment, I guess what's keeping me busy is the Canterbury Tech hat. So I'm the General Manager of Canterbury Tech. We've got about 400 members now, ranging from large global businesses, local businesses, startups, individual members, and we also have a large number of student members as well, because we offer a free student membership so that people can, learn and grow and connect with businesses. I teach design thinking at the UC School of Business Executive Education program, and I also run my consultancy, which is Periscope Collective, bringing together the right minds to solve nutty world problems, and that often involves technology pieces within that as well.
Fantastic. Oh, that's brilliant. Great things that you're working on. So looking to Christchurch, we've got really 3 events that are happening across, as we chat. Yesterday was the Canterbury Tech Summit, which was fantastic, and really pleased to be able to finally make it down for one of those. We've got Innovation Expo kicking off here in Christchurch on Sunday. That runs, I think, Sunday, Monday, and then the Aerospace Summit Monday, Tuesday. So there's really a lot going on when it comes to tech at this time of the year.
Yeah, it's a buzz, and it hasn't happened by accident, this way. We are a very well-connected community, and so the team at Aerospace New Zealand, the team at Christchurch City Council and their Smart Cities team, we've been working together with Christchurch NZ to create a buzz around this Innovate Otatahi week, and that means that we can have 3 different audiences within technology, satisfied. So it's a great time to just kick around and see a bit more of what's going on here. But yesterday's summit, it was great to see there. We had 800 people, so
that was amazing. Complete sellout. Yes,
little horse. You can tell why, because I've been doing a lot of talking yesterday.
Yeah, well, congratulations on that. I mean, it was impressive to just to see such a great community, and it seems like it is a really tight-knit community down here, that people are very very closely connected, and it was hard to walk too far without somebody saying hi or getting an introduction to somebody new, so it was great.
Well, I'm only the second general manager, my predecessor Neil Hamilton being the first, and before that a completely voluntary community organisation. So our committee is still voluntary, sourced from all of the amazing technology companies that are our members. So people put their hands up to, help out and pitch in. And I think that once that's gone through many generations of committees, those people go back into the community and are our advocates. And I think that's the special source of the tight-knitness of our community, is that all the people that have given are out there, saying it might not be my turn now, but this is a great organisation and sending, our young people to come and get involved as well, which has been great. So, yeah, it was great to see lots of past chairs and committee members wandering around and representing their technology businesses there yesterday too.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So there's a whole lot that we could delve into. I think it'd be great maybe just to talk about some of the companies within Canterbury that have been catching attention recently, whether it's ones that people might have heard of through previous media coverage, because there are some like Dawn Aerospace who've raised squillions of dollars and are getting lots of media attention and rightly so, but there are a whole lot more that we maybe don't necessarily hear so much about, or they're not so far along in their journey. So I was kind of curious, but your maybe personal picks, ones that have caught your attention recently that you think folks might be interested in being aware of, and some of those will certainly be sort of cycling back and doing podcasts with. And so while I've been down here, it certainly I've been getting a little bit of a nudge around different companies, and so probably over the next 6 months or so, some of those podcasts we've started scheduling will come through. But it's nice to start with some of your thoughts, Louisa.
Gosh, it's so hard to pick.
I know. I'm being a little bit mean, which is why I said, some of your personal picks. So, we can't cover everyone today.
Yeah, there's some of those sort of high growth companies, like some of the ones you mentioned. Obviously, we've got Lumen PDF, who does a PDF editor, which is now in Google Chrome extension that everybody uses instead of I won't mention their competitors, but they're it's one of those secret successes in Christchurch. They've now got a big global team, and so their team here, they've got a beautiful office down by the park, but they've also got teams all over the world, so they're often flying around. They've got a very global focus and they're doing amazing things, and you can tell like their culture is amazing. They're you can feel the teamwork there, but what a great bunch of people, and so we're really happy to have them as part of the community. They've been supporting us very well. You've got Matomo. I don't know if you've heard of these guys. When people talk about startups and it's not only the right tech, but it's the right timing.
Yes.
These guys, they're a competitor to Google Analytics. And like, why would you take on Google Analytics, right? It's like, it's a no-win game. But what they focused in is on ethics and privacy. Yep. So they're everything that they do in their DNA is about ethics and privacy. So when they want to, install that new app to help them with their business, it actually has to go through a bit of a process to make sure that it meets their ethical standards. But they've hit, so in Europe, Google Analytics doesn't meet legal standards. So that's their perfect timing, is that the whole of Europe, when those rulings were made, was looking for, well, what do we do next? And they looked over and they found Matomo. And so the other problem was that the third version was at GA3, and then moving to the GA4.
Yeah.
You can't actually take your data with you, which is a massive oversight by Google. So what did Matomo do? They made the data portable from the old version. And so because of that, timing, tech, and responding to their customers, they're just blowing up in Europe at the moment.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Their head of revenue, Dion, is here in Canterbury, but they're a fully distributed team, so they work from all around New Zealand. But I like to think they're part of our membership and active part of that. So, doing really well. On the smaller side of things, you've got a lot of health tech starting up. So we've got 3 different incubators in Canterbury. We've got Ministry of Awesome that you'll be well aware of down on the Ara campus, Te Pukenga, and they're focusing on clean energy, women founders, and general startup. Then you've got up at the university, the Centre for Entrepreneurship. Obviously, a lot of people students that have come through from engineering or biology degrees, they're looking to get those skills to be able to commercialize. They might not have learnt the commercial side of things, but they've got an invention. So that school is helping them to take those brilliant ideas with their science knowledge and then apply it, to have enough commercial nous to take it to market and to find the right other co-founders to do that. And
they seem to be doing some really good stuff. We had Jared on from the Centre of Entrepreneurship
nice.
Previously, and it's really encouraging to just to see how much expertise and support is there and available here in Canterbury.
Yeah, and just 2 or 3 weeks ago, we've opened up the health tech centre at the Art Centre, so that would be well worth a visit. It's a shared working space. It's the most beautiful shared working space you've ever seen because it's set in one of our old newly restored buildings at the same era as the Cathedral and Christ College and that. So,
this is where Sir Ernest Rutherford worked from
exactly
back in the day, blowing things up.
Exactly, it's like right there. It's physics on the door, and there's a little museum of physics in there that you can visit too. But my gosh, I'm going to be going hot desking there soon, I think. But over there, you can visit some really amazing companies. Overcome is a new one, which is using augmented reality to help people overcome phobias. So if you don't like spiders or you don't like flying, you can go through a gentle desensitivity program on their set. So amazing success for people that have never been on an aeroplane before and can now take themselves through this guided session. And it can also be done alongside clinicians as well. But amazing tech happening there. And a couple of probably more like out there ideas, but a grid share is a personal favourite. It's quite hard to do the elevator pitch, but their CTO describes it as Uber for electrons.
I'm trying to work out what that means.
So if I explain it simply, it's we have a problem with moving to fully 100% renewable energy.
Yes.
And one of the reasons is that the commercials don't add up. So you've actually got to pump in tens of millions of dollars to the infrastructure, whether it's a wind turbine or solar. You've got to buy that stuff up front. So say you were about to build a new subdivision and you thought, hey, we'll do the right thing. We'll put sustainable energy. We'll build some generation that's going to feed this. Thing is, you might only have 10 houses at the beginning, but you got a paddock that's got enough for 10,000 houses. The economics don't work to invest in that energy infrastructure to start with. So GridShare works alongside those infrastructure developers to make it commercially viable to invest, because they use the electricity that's not being used to make it to full demand, and they use it for data centers.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, as we see these new data centers launching in New Zealand, there's that big demand for them to be using entirely renewable energy, isn't there?
Exactly. I mean, I think that GridShare is the answer to us as a country getting to 100% renewable energy. Yeah, it just makes so much commercial sense. That means we can invest in everything, and from day one, it's giving an economic return on that investment. So it's a no-brainer for people to, invest in a new solar farm or invest in a new wind turbine.
Yeah. And talking a little bit about the work you do, what are some of the things that you've really enjoyed the most? Because you've put a lot of energy and effort into your study and into your work, but probably hard for people to know what sorts of things do you plug into in terms of the projects and the businesses
with
that you've
Canterbury
worked
Tech,
in. Just more broadly.
Yeah. Well, I cut my teeth in Canterbury in a technology startup here. I actually was doing research for government department on the technology industry, and I had to travel around the country interviewing everyone. And I thought, yeah, I can jump in here. I grew up with technology. My dad was one of the first computer programmers in New Zealand. He's also one of those early IoT pioneers, doing weather research in Antarctica and building a climate lab at DSIR in Palmerston North. So I grew up with computers from a very early age and was always tinkering. He went on again into, I don't know, aerospace, but astronomy. He ran international data collection for astronomers measuring the grazing occultations of the moon, which means that when a star goes behind the moon, you can do triangulation and you can work out where it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
great.
So my brothers went on to do computer science, and I veered off into an arts degree, but I've come full backswing. I mean, it's inevitable that I came back here in a way. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. And looking at the Canterbury Tech Summit, that's what we've just had yesterday. You've obviously put a huge amount of time into pulling that together, and it was an exceptional event. Really pleasing that it was completely sold out. I got a slap on the hand for not being organised enough and checking that I was fully registered, but I got through the door. So thank you to whoever twisted some cheeky arms to sort that. So thank you for that. Walk us through, how do you pull off an event like this in terms of deciding who you're going to feature? And how did that come together? Because sort of looking at the mix of different speakers, and I guess they're largely local New Zealand speakers from different parts of the countries, also from Canterbury, a little bit on the international front as well. But the people I spoke to and the sessions I caught were just spot on. It was really good, useful, relevant content. And during parts, you had the 3 streams running, so people could delve into the right things.
So within you've got the 3 different streams running. Our committee had worked out together an approach to appeal to 3 different audiences, which we broadly have in our membership. One is the techies, people on the tools, want to go deep, want to know all the nitty gritty.
Perfect.
We wanted to have something, to excite them and to go to that deeper level. One is the business owners, leaders in their businesses, wanting to talk business and people that understand the complexities of running a technology business and all that entails. And probably thirdly is the tech users. So we have a lot of members now that it doesn't say tech on the front door, but they may have massive technology departments or not, but they're using technology because technology underpins every business now.
That's right.
And they want to know what's next, what should I be looking out for, how can you explain it to me so I can understand. So we tried to have for every session there was one of those audiences was taken care of. So even if you were super techie, you could go into that, but if you weren't techie, you might have stumbled into the technical one and gone whoops. But there were 2 other things that you could that you would find more accessible and more that sort of business or future vision style thing. And then I think it's really like for me choosing the keynote speakers. I was like, what do people really need to know? And I sort of look with my design thinking hat on, I look at anti-patterns. Like, what are the things that in our community at the moment, like where are our skills gaps? Where do I keep hearing people are tripping over? For example, product management maybe isn't a very well understood discipline in New Zealand. So we brought, one of the world leading experts in that to kind of unpick it in a simple way for people. And we ran the pre-summit workshops where CEOs and product managers could get up close and have a small group session and ask all those tricky questions. So I think there was some it really was a masterclass. People say masterclass, but that one was really people were like, I think minds were blown Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, that was actually the session with it was Rich.
Rich Mironov.
Yeah, Rich Mironov. Yeah, he did a great keynote. That was fantastic. And there were overall there was pretty incredible lineup of speakers from lots of different perspectives. I enjoyed hearing Brendan, how do I say his surname? Muschamp.
Yeah.
From sharing his story of Loom
Yeah.
and his work there with a small team that he was working with, but they had he said 2 million customers. They had to kind of migrate from one iteration of the technology to another, and how they did that. And it was a really really good sort of practical and insightful session. So that was really good.
That one was funny because I use Loom every day.
Yes.
And I linked in, like, who works at Loom? Maybe I can chat to someone, just out of interest.
Yeah.
And then I saw that their chief engineer was in Christchurch, and I went, hang on. So I asked someone, like, who knows this person, see who was linked into them, and then gave him a call and said, hey, can we meet up? So we met up, and then he started telling me all these stories, and he's got his own style of delivery, and it's actually very, very engaging. So we actually had him at our Tech Week hub in May.
Yes.
And he told the story of how he landed the job as chief engineer of Loom, which is, it's a startup. So the number of people aren't small, but it's got quite a lot of global reach. It's a screen recording software. Yeah, and it was basically like he lost his job. His wife was pregnant and he had 2 weeks to find work. So he went big. And it's just such an amazing journey. And I thought, he's a really nice style. His presentation looks like code. And so it's nice for people that are, on the tools to kind of follow along in their own language almost.
It was not nice and geeky, but with good storytelling.
Yeah.
Right through. So that was definitely one that stood out to me.
And one of the other things we've been able to introduce for our local member speakers this year was to actually bring Michael Philpott, who's one of New Zealand's best speaking coaches in. And so we did that as a bit of a thank you to some of our local speakers, just to give them that chance to, connect with each other again. It's a lovely networking and bonding thing to meet other people that are going to be up there on the stage. Also helps people just, prepare, because sometimes it's quite hard to know whether you've got there or not. So we've had a lovely supportive cohort of people doing the speaker coaching in the background as well, which has been awesome.
Oh, that's really
myself
neat,
included.
It definitely can definitely be helpful. I use a coach. I'm talking out at Lincoln University tomorrow, and it's a slightly different session that I've done before, sort of focused on it's a property related conference. So spend some time with my coach to make sure that I've got something really good to deliver. So I think that's beneficial for everyone, right? All the audience benefits from speakers that are all polished and set to go.
Yeah.
So that's excellent. And any particular learnings for next time, because this is an annual event now held at the new conference centre here in Christchurch, which seems to be getting pretty packed out with events. So have you got the next one sort of scheduled, or that's not too far off?
Yeah, we have. It's the 27th of September 2024. So at Te Pai again. Very exciting. It's going to be a Friday, so that could be quite nice to sort of kick on and enjoy the evening as well. So just I think for me the tricky thing is that we do sell out, and we leading up to it we were saying, we're going to sell out, so please don't leave it too late. And then as soon as we put the sold out sign on, every avenue that people could think of to try and get a ticket was being hacked. So all of the committee members were being relentlessly
no.
emailed, and I put an out of office on all of my channels, but then people were calling me and saying, "Have you got a ticket?" And because we actually oversold, because there is such demand. And we know that a few people, they're sick or
Can't
they don't
make
show
it
up on the day.
Yeah.
And we said none of the committee members are allowed to sit down, so there's enough seats for everybody. So we're trying to cram because we want to be inclusive, right? And we run our summit in quite a different way from sort of a conference that's there to make money. We're there to connect our community. So our tickets are super affordable. They don't even cover the price of feeding you that day, but the rest of it is our sponsors, which is again our community. So our community is helping everyone from our community to be there, which is the bit that we love. So I always feel a bit sad when we have to close the door. I want everyone to be able to come, but hopefully this year Te Pai is a very popular venue and it's quite hard to get a day, so we're lucky that we have got one, but I guess for the future, we'd love to be able to expand to the full, because we used the 700 seating auditorium.
Which was packed.
Yeah, you can open it up to 1,400. So
wow,
maybe life goals. Yeah. Because our committee, I talked to David Carty yesterday from Stratos, and he's a previous chair and committee member, and he said, we always dreamed of doing it in Te Pai, but we always thought it was just too big for us and too risky. So it's amazing to have, built up slowly, but to have got there. So I think everyone's just feeling really chuffed about that.
Well done. It was, I think it was great, great networking and just catching up with so many people as well. So that, it wasn't, I guess, compare it to some of the big events you go to. They're so big that you kind of, can miss people, some of the international events and so on. And this kind of it was that right kind of fit. I guess if you do go bigger, there'll be a little bit of an element of that you lose, but you'll also be able to serve more people. So, I think either way is good. It's probably going to change a little bit.
Yeah.
If you are, going bigger.
Oh, funnily enough, we sent out the survey this morning, and I haven't had a chance to review it, but Jennifer, our marketing and events manager, has been reviewing it, and she said, everyone says, let's go bigger. I was like, Does anyone say why? Yes. I think it's just a pride thing, right? Where everyone's feeling super pumped to just feel like the buzz, really. And with that, and then, the other two events on this week, it really is something special.
Yeah, and so how do these different events fit together? It was Christchurch NZ that it was sort of nudging me to come down.
Yeah.
So there's obviously that connection with Christchurch NZ, who are part of the council or a council entity down here, aren't they?
Yeah. So there are regional development agency, and we work hand in hand with them on a number of programs. One about encouraging women into technology. We've been working on their Power Up series together, and we're always working on that sort of skills overview and obviously attraction for people coming to Christchurch. And that's the same with the aerospace group. They're also working very collaboratively with Christchurch NZ and with us as well. So some of the members of the Christchurch City Council Smart Cities teams, we've got Grace, who's actually on the Canterbury Tech Committee. So we're all connected together, and so we all got together, the four groups, and said, how can we make this a thing? And we got a lovely design by Friday Creative of the Innovate Otatahi brand. It's the first year, so I think we'll lean into it more next year and start to really let people know in other centres that it's a great time to come down and stay for a few days in between as well, and go to the hot pools or something like that. Yeah.
And what do you see as the reason that there is a lot of innovation happening, here in Canterbury, and why startups are choosing to be here? Because obviously, every organisation has a when someone's launching an organisation, they can choose where to be, and some will start in one city and move to another, or one country and move to another. But there is, there's quite a long, history here, of technology innovation. We've got companies like, Tate, who have been around for a very long time, and they're still here
Going strong,
in Christchurch and doing well. Jade, and another one, and there's I guess a bunch more, but those are two of the well known ones. Why do you think Christchurch is a good space?
I guess out of disaster comes creativity. I think it's a natural cycle. We have lived through a lot, and I know resilience is a dirty word in Christchurch. We don't use that word, but a lot of the companies that have lived through the entire city falling down and having to share workspaces with each other, even reaching out to their competitors and saying, "Are you guys okay? Come work in my garage," through to losing colleagues in the mosque shootings, and what's the right word? I'm getting a little bit choked up. Supporting our team members through that, because that was very confronting for our Muslim team members to navigate that, and so a lot of leaders were having to help people that had already been through an earthquake, through the terrorist attacks, and then obviously through COVID lockdown. So throw locusts at us, zombie apocalypse, we're all good. You get there's a certain glue that binds you together once you've been through that sort of level of adversity, and I think there's something in that's it's an awful thing to have been through, but their magic comes from that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as I said earlier, there does seem to be a real, there's a community sort of feeling, and people are, closely connected here. And certainly somebody that spent a large chunk of my, childhood here. But it's mostly not, spent big chunks of time in Canterbury, in recent decades. It's always nice to come back and to see what's going on, and invariably I'm encouraged, and I can understand why people choose to live here and do business here and so on.
Yeah, I don't think it happened by accident. I think people at the time of the earthquake said, we need to all get together. I use the word the nerderati, the deep thinkers, the futurists, get together and actually think, vision that future. And that happened in Christchurch. There were a number of key players. You've got, Raf Manji and Ben Reid, and the starters of BOMA and Ministry of Awesome, and it's before my time, but those guys all got together and set out a vision, what if we did that? Not all of those ideas flew, but Ministry of Awesome is now a nationally known brand, bringing founders down to Christchurch from Auckland to set up their businesses and get the expertise and sort of wraparound support they need.
Yep.
So I think that's the new norm, is born in Christchurch with a national view, rather than being national things happening in Wellington or national things happening in Auckland. National things are happening here as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're right, that futurist thinking and mindset and action does seem to really run through, and you look at a lot of the things that are going on, and you can see that's been part of it, and over quite a period of time too.
Yeah, and people, I think that's that community mindedness. People are obviously thinking about tech, but they're also thinking about human inclusion as well. There's definitely the tech for good is underlaying things. It's not a tooth and nails venture capital driven community. It's a can we solve the world world's problems. I mean, the work that we've been doing with Dorinda Britton, I don't know if you heard about that yesterday at the summit, but Dorinda Britton and Canterbury Tech have partnered together to develop a program to support dyslexics in tech, because the new research out of England said that 1 in 5 people in a population, regardless of culture, gender, are dyslexic, and many people will also have another neurodivergent thinking style on top of that. So if you think about your team at work, 1 in 5 of the team are dyslexic, and they may not have told anybody at work that they are dyslexic. They may have had a really hard time at school. And there's a lot of scars that people will have if they've had a hard time at school. So I guess we're trying to make the technology sector an appealing place where we start to change the dial on workplaces. We don't seem to be able to change the dial on schooling yet. There's a lot of work that needs to be done there.
Yeah.
If 1 in 5 people in our classrooms is dyslexic and the support is, not really there, then what if we changed our workplaces and then schools might have to change? I guess that's the the thinking
Why
behind
not
it.
start where you can, and when if you can do it at this in this environment, then it's likely to float down from there, isn't it?
So we've had fantastic support from 3 local partners, which is Indie Technology, Trimble, and Focus Software, and they provided us with a group of people, so self-declared dyslexic employees of theirs and their HR teams and senior leaders, and then we ran research workshops about trying to create the blueprint for what good looks like, and we're at the next stage. We're about to develop the prototype and start testing it again with those local partners. But again, it's another thing which it could be global. It doesn't have to just stay in New Zealand, and it can actually be a viable business, as well as being a social enterprise with massive impact for people. So we know that there's this inflection point where people are supported or they're not. And, some people have the benefit of having a supportive family, and that will help them through a bad schooling. But when they don't have either of those things, life can be pretty hard. So now more than 50% of our prison population is dyslexic. Imagine if all of the dyslexics were getting the support they needed and could go into employment where they were supported. Could we actually just eliminate a whole bunch of social issues that are hiding in plain sight? And I think that's Dorinda Britton and her amazing visionary thinking, and we've been proud to kind of walk alongside her and help her to develop that program and to connect into the technology companies and to get it tested and proven. So,
Oh, that's really, really insightful, actually, and I'm sure others will be interested in delving in and finding out a little bit more.
Yeah,
there.
on our website you can there's a page. Just go to the canterburytech.nz website. There's a Rethink Tech Talent Program page, and you can sign up there to find out more about the dyslexia program, whether you're dyslexic yourself or you're an HR professional or you're a tech leader or you're all 3. You can let us know, and we'll be starting to reach out to people who want to know more.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's great. Well, definitely, I would encourage people that are in Canterbury to if they're not already connected with Canterbury Tech to get plugged in. There's lots of events, aren't there? You seem to have a pretty full calendar through the year of different things happening within Canterbury when it comes to varying sorts of tech meetups and the like, beyond the big events.
So that's something actually refreshed this year was our event calendar on the website. So you can actually subscribe to it now, so it's in your calendar as well, which is a handy function. But we encourage all of our technology meetups to list their events on there. So if you're wanting to go deeper into, say, Python coding or business analysis or testing, or you want to do, there's other vendor-driven groups as well. If you're into particular software, then you can go deeper into, and meet your fellow people that are into the exact same code language or software or discipline that you're into. And it's really important for us as Canterbury Tech to support those groups. So we actually set up a meetup fund with sponsorship from AWS last year, and that's been fantastic in that if you need money for pizza and beer, or you need a venue, you can log into that fund, and so long as you apply a couple of weeks in advance, we can give you a Prezi card to go buy your pizza and beer. We're actually just trying to get on a beer partner as well. So if you know of any good beer partners that wants to feed our software developer community and technologists down here, we'll gladly take someone on board.
Great. Oh, that's really cool. Well, thanks for your time, Louisa.
Mm-hmm.
It's been great being down here in Christchurch, and I'm down again next week for the Innovation Expo and the Aerospace Summit, and yes, now I'll be encouraging people to get more than just a couple of days down here. We'll be mentioning the Aerospace Summit for a little while, so it's definitely worth getting along to, and even for people from other parts of the country, because one of the things that I've found with conferences and events is if you go out of town for an event, you're much more likely to put aside the whole day and really get into it, whereas if it's in your own towns, I've got this meeting I've got to duck back for, or this or that. Really, really, really worthwhile content, and a great way to connect with folks down here. So thank you for that. Now, just a reminder, the Canterbury Tech website.
CanterburyTech.nz.
Okay, nice and easy.
Yep.
All right, that's great. And thanks everyone for listening in. Thanks to our show partners, Gorilla Technology, 1NZ, HP, Spark, and 2 Degrees for their support as well. And we'll be back again with another episode next week. All right. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Cheers.
The New Zealand Tech Podcast, brought to you by Gorilla Technology, proactive and strategic IT.